Hi, welcome to the Rose at Home channel. I am Rose, I am at home, and I am so happy to see you. It is the end of the month, so I thought, what better time than now to talk about all the books that I bought in the month of May. And I bought a decent chunk of books in the month of May. There were a number of sales going on. I had got my tax refund back, and so I gave myself a little bit of extra money in the book budget. And so this is everything that I picked up this month. The first one, I don't think I ordered in May. I think it just came in May. I think it was a pre-order. Barnes & Noble, their online was doing a sale where you got something like 25% off if you did any pre-orders. And so I pre-ordered The Fourth Wing, which I know everybody and their cousin has been talking about and reading, and the reviews that I've been hearing have been so amazing. And look at this, look at those edges. Oh, I love it. I'm super excited for all of these books, but I'm gonna say that over and over again. Sorry about that, but I'm so excited to read this. I've heard it is adult Hunger Games. I've heard it's a better Divergent with dragons. I don't know. It is super high on the list. Liam and I are talking about getting together and doing a buddy read on the channel over the summer, and this is one of the things that I'm gonna put out there as a possible option if he's interested. So it's The Fourth Wing. It's by Rebecca Yarros, and so you know what it's about. Ooh, look at this map. Maps. Love a book map. Love, 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 love. And yes, I reference book maps in fantasy books. I go back and look for, they're always there in my opinion, for a reason. Enter the brutal and elite world of a war college for dragon riders from USA Today's best-selling author Rebecca Yarros. 20-year-old Violet Sorengale was supposed to enter the scribe quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now the commanding general, also known as her tough as Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre, dragon riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away, because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most would kill Violet to better their chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter, like Xaden Rierson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in Rider's Quadrant. She'll need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Yet with every day that passes, the war outside grows more deadly. The kingdom's protective wards are failing, and the death toll continues to rise. Even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. Friends, enemies, lovers, everyone at Basgiath War College has an agenda. Because once you enter, there are only two ways out: graduate or die. How is that not amazing? I absolutely, positively cannot wait to get to this one. It does sound like it's going to be a fun kind of summer fantasy. And for fantasy, I love that. It's not that long. It's not one of those 800, 900 page chunkers that big epic fantasy can be. So super, super excited. The next book I picked up is The Secret Book of Flora Lee by Patti, Calahan, Henry. And I picked this up in part because I'm still learning Book of the Month, and I had ordered my Book of the Month, and I didn't even know to go and look that there would be things that were add-ons that weren't books you could pick for the regular. And so I'd already picked my 3 and then saw this as a possible add-on and was just automatically smitten. I'm glad I got the 3 that I got for Book of the Month. I'm happy with those, but then this was at Target for 30% off, and how do you ignore 30% off? So this is this. It's very, very different from the last one. It seems like it's going to be a really sweet, oh, look at those end pages. How beautiful is that? Okay, to the book part. When a woman stumbles across a mysterious children's book, long-held secrets about her missing sister and their childhood spent in the English countryside during World War II are revealed. In the war-torn London of 1939, 14-year-old Hazel and 5-year-old Flora are evacuated from their home in a rural village to escape the horrors of the Second World War. Living with the kind Bridie Aberdeen and her teenage son Harry in the charming stone cottage along the River Thames, Hazel fills her days with walks and games to distract her young sister, including one that she creates for her sister and her sister alone, a fairy tale about a magical land called Whisperwood, a secret place that can escape to that is all their own. But the unthinkable happens when young Flora suddenly vanishes while playing near the banks of the river. Shattered, Hazel blames herself for her sister's disappearance, and she carries that guilt into adulthood as a private burden she feels she deserves. 20 years later, Hazel is in London, ready to move on from her job at a cozy rare bookstore to a career at Sotheby's. With a charming boyfriend and her elegantly time-worn Bloomsbury flat, Hazel's future seems determined, but her tidy life is turned upside down when she unwraps a package containing an illustrated book called Whisperwood and the River of Stars. Hazel never told a soul about the imaginary world she created just for Flora. Could this book hold the secrets to Flora's disappearance? Could it be a sign that her beloved sister is still alive after all those years? As Hazel embarks on a feverish quest, revisiting long dormant relationships and bravely opening wounds from her past, her career and future hang in the balance. An astonishing twist ultimately reveals the truth in this transporting and refreshingly original novel about the bond between sisters and the complications of conflicted love and the enduring magic of storytelling. Does that not sound beautiful? Oh my goodness. I can't wait for this one either. I have an idea. I've got a number of books with some similar aspects. I was thinking about putting together a video with those, and so this is definitely, if I do that, this is going to be on that. So you should be able to hear stuff about this in the next few months. Okay, so for the next group of books, Target had a sale. They were doing BOGO 50 on all of their adult novels, and that was off of the already sale price. So most books at Target are 20 to 30% off, and then you got an additional half price on one of them. So most of these I got for between $12 and $15 for brand new hardcovers. So how could I not? Like, it just seemed silly not to go for it. So, and except they have these stupid stickers and I can't stand them. So the first I picked up in the sale is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. We had a discussion about Brandon Sanderson back in my video about the oldest books on my TBR. One of those books was his, and I said I still haven't read anything by him. Still haven't. But I picked up another one from him because look at how pretty this is. And it sounds so good. And again, look at the end pages. I am a sucker for beautiful books. I just am. There's nothing, I'm not sorry. Not even sorry, not sorry. I'm just flat out not sorry. Okay, so the only life little Tress has known on her island home in an emerald green ocean has been a simple one, with the simple pleasures of collecting cups brought by sailors from faraway lands and listening to stories told by her friend Charlie. But when his father takes him on a voyage to find a bride and disaster strikes, Tress must stow away on a ship and seek the sorceress of the deadly midnight sea amid the spore oceans where the pirates abound. Can Tress leave her simple life behind and make her own place sailing the sea where a single drop of water can mean instant death? So that sounds great. It sounds like a fun, kind of lighter fantasy story, and I just thought it was a beautiful book, and so definitely I picked this one up. Not sure that I got these all in order, but I believe to go with this one, I picked up The Writing Retreat. This is one that I've been looking at for actually a little bit, ever since it first came out. The reviews have been mixed, but the people who like it say they like it for things that I really like in kind of suspenseful mysteries. So I really wanted to give it a shot, and it was just like the other one. They were both 30% off and then an additional 50% off one of them, so it made it a real deal. So if you haven't heard about this one already, Alex has all but given up on her dreams of becoming a published author when she receives a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Attend an exclusive month-long writing retreat at the estate of feminist horror writer Rosa Vallow. Even the knowledge that Ren, her former best friend and current rival, is attending doesn't damper her excitement. But when the attendees arrive, Rosa drops a bombshell. They must all complete an entire novel from scratch during the next month. And the author of the best one will receive a life-changing 7-figure publishing deal. Determined to win this seemingly impossible contest, Alex buckles down and tries to ignore the strange happenings at the estate, including Rosa's erratic behavior, Wren's cruel mind games, and the alleged haunting of the mansion itself. But when one of the writers vanishes during a snowstorm, Alex realizes that something very sinister is afoot. With the clock running out, she must discover the truth or suffer the same fate. A claustrophobic and propulsive thriller exploring the dark side of female relationships and fame, The Writing Retreat is an unput-downable debut novel from a compelling new talent. So it sounds really cool. It sounds like there's going to be lots of kind of twisty-turny, just jump in and hold on for the ride kind of thing, and I love those. So it might be a this summer thing. It might also, with it talking about maybe the house is haunted, I might save it for kind of fall, because haunted house things I like for fall. So the next 3 things that I got, I've already told you about. So they are the Book of the Month selections. Oh, there they are. That I picked up this month. Is my first full month with Book of the Month. And if you are interested in hearing about these 3, I've already made a video for them. So I'm going to link it at the end of this video so you can watch this one and then go straight to that one and learn all about these 3 books. So on the last day of the Target sale, I went back because I couldn't not, and I knew I'd be kicking myself if I then later went back and paid, more for these same books. So I went back and picked up 2 more sets in the sale, and one of them is a chunker. It is Kate Morton's Homecoming, and look at how beautiful that. I know, I say it all the time, I'm a sucker for a beautiful cover, but this looks and sounded so good. So, oh my goodness, okay. Adelaide Hills, Christmas Eve, 1959. At the end of a scorching hot day beside a creek on the ground of a grand country house, a local man makes a terrible discovery. Police are called, and the small town of Tambela becomes embroiled in one of the most baffling murder investigations in the history of South Australia. Many years later, and thousands of miles away, Jess is a journalist in search of a story. Having lived and worked in London for nearly 2 decades, she now finds herself unemployed and struggling to make ends meet. A phone call summons her back to Sydney, where her beloved grandmother, Nora, who raised Jess when her mother could not, has suffered a fall and is seriously ill at the hospital. At Nora's house, Jess discovers a true crime book chronicling a long-buried police case, the Turner family tragedy of 1959. It is only when Jess skims through its pages that she finds a shocking connection between her own family and this notorious event, a mystery that has never been satisfactorily resolved. An epic story that spans generations, Homecoming asks what we would do for those we love, how we protect the lies we tell, and what it means to come home. Above all, it is an intricate and spellbinding novel from one of the finest writers working today. So yeah, that sounds like it's going to be absolutely amazing. It sounds like it's gonna, like it said, epic. It's gonna be great. So it's long, but it seems like it's gonna be something for, maybe we get a few storm days that I can really just spend with one story. That's what I'm looking forward to. Okay, and to pair with that one that's very different, this is a second chance for an author for me. I picked up Grady Henry's How to Sell a Haunted House. I had read Grady Henry's The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and there were things about it I really liked, and there were things about it that really bothered me, and I decided because there were things that I really liked, I would give them another shot. And so this sounded really cool, and I do like haunted house stories. I prefer when they're really haunted and not when they're Scooby-Doo's, where it's really just a person in a mask. I don't like Scooby-Doo haunted houses. If it's gonna be haunted, I want it to really be haunted. But, so I'm looking forward to this one. This might be a hold for fall though, but with the sale, I went ahead and got it now. When Louise finds out that her parents have died, she dreads going home. She doesn't want to leave her daughter with her ex and fly to Charleston. She doesn't want to deal with her family home stuffed to the rafters with the remnants of her father's academic career and her mother's lifelong obsession with puppets and dolls. Ooh, creepy dolls. She doesn't want to learn how to live without the two people who knew and loved her best in the world. Most of all, she doesn't want to deal with her brother, Mark, who never left their hometown, gets fired from one job after another, and resents her success. Unfortunately, she'll need his help to get the house ready for sale, because it'll take more than some new paint on the walls and clearing out a lifetime of memories to get this place on the market. But some houses don't want to be sold, and Louise and Mark's home has other plans for both of them. Like his novel, The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and the Final Girl Support Group, How to Sell a Haunted House is classic Hendrix, equal parts heartfelt and terrifying. It's a gripping new read from the horror master. So we will see. I am looking forward to it. I don't know that I've mentioned this, but I also have an older daughter. She's married and lives across the country, but she also really likes scary things and horror things. So we talked about the two of us maybe doing a buddy read on this one together. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so the last set that I got from Target starts with sorry, Grady Hendrix. I actually consider the horror master, but I think this isn't supposed to be horror. It is Stephen King's fairy tale. This has been out for a little bit. It's still in hardcover, so it's not been out a long time, but it's one where every time I'd go into the bookstore, I'd look at it, I'd almost grab it, but then something else would catch my eye, and finally it was in the sale at Target, so I went ahead and grabbed it. Doesn't that cover look super, super creepy? Okay, so and it's Stephen King likes a nice long book, so I was expecting that. Charlie Reed looks like a regular high school kid, great at baseball and football, a decent student, but he carries a heavy load. His mom was killed in a hit-and-run accident when he was 7, and grief drove his dad to drink. Charlie learned how to take care of himself and his dad. When Charlie is 17, he meets a dog named Radar and her aging master, Howard Bowditch, a recluse in a big house at the top of a big hill with a locked shed in the backyard. Sometimes strange sounds emerge from it. Charlie starts doing odd jobs for Mr. Bowditch and loses his heart to Radar. Then, when Bowditch dies, he leaves Charlie a cassette tape telling a story no one would believe. What Bowditch knows and has kept secret all of his long life is that inside the shed is a portal to another world. King's storytelling and fairy tale soars. It is a magnificent and terrifying tale in which good is pitted against overwhelming evil, and a heroic boy and his dog must lead the battle. So I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be nice and escapey and jump into a very well-drawn, detailed world, and I'm looking forward to it. I do really like Stephen King. I've been reading him my whole life since I was, if you remember from my BookTube newbie tag, I've been reading adult stuff since elementary school, so I started reading his stuff really early. So my favorite things from Stephen King are The Stand, Dr. Sleep, I thought was so good. I also really, really love Needful Things, and Needful Things was one of my favorite movies based on a Stephen King. Of course, I love Misery. I could go on and on and on. So I know that I enjoy his writing. I know I love his storytelling, and so I know that I'm going to enjoy this. So to buddy up with that one to get the deal at Target, I picked up The London Seance Society from Sarah Penner. This is another one that I kept seeing over and over and over again, and every time I was like, I'm gonna hold off, I'm gonna hold off, and now I could finally get it because I got such a really good deal on it. And it's from the person who wrote The Lost Apothecary, which I thought I had, but then when I went and put this in my Goodreads, I didn't. So that might be something I need to pick up if I really love this. So, 1873. At an abandoned chateau on the outskirts of Paris, a dark seance is about to take place, led by acclaimed spiritualist Vaudeline Dalder, known worldwide for her talent in conjuring the spirits of murder victims to ascertain the identities of the people who killed them. She is highly sought after by widows and investigators alike. Lena Wicks has come to Paris to find answers about her sister's death. But to do so, she must embrace the unknown and overcome her own logic-driven biases against the occult. When Vaudeline is beckoned to England to solve a high-profile murder, Lena accompanies her as an understudy. But as the women team up with the powerful men of London's exclusive Seance society to solve the mystery, they begin to suspect that they are not merely out to solve a crime, but perhaps entangled in one themselves. So that sounds really good. We've got time period, mystery, detectives with supernatural, paranormal elements, all about it. I think I'm gonna love this. So this month was AAPI, Asian and Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I think I said that right this time. And so the first thing I read, and I'm going to do a wrap up. This is a good time to talk about that. I'm going to do a wrap-up video, and it's going to come out on Wednesday. And if you want to make sure that you don't miss it, please go ahead and click that subscribe button right now so that you're sure to get it to show up on your feed. You can even click that little bell if you want it to show up the second that I pop it in your notifications. But back to what I was saying. I read something really heavy for my first pick, and I wanted something lighter, and I just didn't have anything that fit. So, of course, trip to the bookstore. And at the bookstore, they also were doing for paperbacks at Barnes & Noble BOGO 50. And what's interesting is for one of these books, one had a sticker and one did not. And I was reading the fine print on the sticker and I couldn't tell, so I went to the circulation desk and I said, do they both need to have a sticker, or can it just be one of them has a sticker to get the 50% off? And she said, hold on. She went in her drawer, pulled out a sheet of stickers and slapped a sticker on the second book and said, there you go. I was like, okay, I guess that works. So one of these I have read already, and it is this one, The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huong. This is the book that I picked to kind of be lighter. I've got thoughts. I have so many thoughts. I will be talking about them in my next video. And so the second book that I picked up is The Heart Principle. Technically, this is the first and the third book in a semi-series. It has a few characters in common, but you don't need to have read the others to read and understand what's going on. They don't build on each other, they just share characters. Kind of like the Brown sisters. You can read them in any order. It doesn't really matter. You might get spoiled as to people ending up with people at the end, but they're romances. Of course they're gonna put it together at the end. So I'm not even gonna read the description on the first one, but I haven't read this one yet. So this is The Heart Principle. See, oh, I pulled the sticker off of one, and so now this book has both stickers. So when violinist Anna Sun accidentally achieves career success with a viral YouTube video, she finds herself incapacitated and burned out from her attempts to replicate that moment. And when her longtime boyfriend announces that he wants an open relationship before making a final commitment, a hurt and angry Anna decides if he wants an open relationship, then she does too. Translation, she's going to embark on a string of one nights. The more unacceptable the man, the better. I'm going to read it. I plan to read it. Especially after the last one, I'm like, y'all are making some poor life choices. You don't go do stuff you're not interested in to try to upset a man. Just no. Okay. But the last one, I'm going to read it. I'm just going to question this main character as I'm doing it. And that's where tattooed motorcycle riding Kuang Deep comes in. Okay, he was in the first book. He's a great character. I really like him. Their first attempt at a one-night stand fails, as does their second and their third. Because being with Kuang is more than sex. He accepts Anna on an unconditional level that she herself has just begun to understand. However, when tragedy strikes Anna's family, he takes on a role that she is ill-suited for, until the burden of expectations threatens to destroy her. Anna and Quinn have to fight for their chance at love, but to do that, they also have to fight for themselves. Okay, again, I'll give it a shot. We will see. We will see. The next one I am also going to save discussing, and I picked this up literally the day that it came out. I was so excited. And I didn't pay for this one. So yay for teacher appreciation gifts. And so and I told the student I was getting this, and we had a discussion about what the book is about. So I picked up R.F. Kuang's Yellowface. Again, I'm not even going to read the back. I have a lot to say about this one as well, so I have already read this one this month for AAPI, and I will have all of that info for you on Wednesday, so please tune in. So the next book I also did not purchase. The next book was my Mother's Day gift from Liam. It is Mark Lawrence's The Book That Wouldn't Burn, and look at that cover. So this is a chunker. I already have read one Mark Lawrence. I'm in his series about the assassin nuns, the Red Sister, Gray Sister, Holy Sister, and loved that. Really want to get into the second book in that series. This is, now that series is over, I guess this is the next thing he's come out with, and so excited for this and for books that can't burn, because dear God in heaven, don't you know we need those. Okay, two strangers find themselves connected by a vast and mysterious library containing many wonders and still more secrets. In this powerfully moving first book in a new series from the international best-selling author of Red Sister and Prince of Thorns. The boy had lived his whole life trapped within a book-choked chamber older than empires and larger than cities. The girl had spent hers in a tiny settlement out on the dust, where nightmares stalk and no one goes. The world has never even noticed them. That's about to change. Their stories spiral around each other across the worlds and time. This is a tale of truth and lies and hearts and the blurring of one into another, a journey on which knowledge erodes certainty and on which, though the pen may be mightier than the sword, blood will be spilled and cities burned. And I still have no idea what it's going to be about based on that, but I can't wait. I'm so excited. So excited, so excited. Prior to Friday would have been it, but Friday we went and saw The Little Mermaid, and it was phenomenal. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And where our AMC is, there is also the Barnes & Noble, and they had sent me a thing that it was triple points for folks who have their new membership program. And if you remember, I got their new membership program as a sorry, not sorry, but we're taking away the educator card, but we'll give you this for free. So I have that, and I had a $5 reward in my account. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go, I get my percentage off, plus I've got a $5 reward, plus I will get probably a new, which I did. I earned another new reward from getting these. So all in all, I think it was a very successful shopping trip. So I picked up two things. The first thing I grabbed, I've been looking forward to since it came out. I've read the first one in her series. It is Stacy Abrams' Rogue Justice. And I loved the first book. I loved the character. I loved the writing. I loved everything about it. I'm not gonna lie, I'd hoped Stacey Abrams would be too busy running things to get to write more books. But as a consolation prize, I'm so happy that I get to read another story from her. I know this is going to be amazing. So she writes kind of political, government-centered mysteries, thrillers, suspense kind of things. The first one had kind of Pelican Brief vibes. It was a young woman kind of getting thrown into this whole world of all of this political intrigue and assassinations and all of that with the Supreme Court. So that was in the first one, and I think we're going there again in the second. Supreme Court clerk Avery Keene is back, trying to get her feet on solid ground after unraveling an international conspiracy in While Justice Sleeps. It was so good. If you haven't read it, read it. But as the sparks of congressional hearings and political skirmishes swirl around her, Avery is approached at a legal conference by Preston Davies, an unassuming fellow law clerk to a federal judge in Idaho. Davies believes his boss, Judge Francesca Whitner, is being blackmailed in the days before she died. Desperate to understand what happened, he gives Avery a file, a burner phone, and a fearful warning that there are highly dangerous people involved. A shocking murder leaves Avery to a list of names, all federal judges, and alarmingly, all judges on the FISA court, the United States Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, also known as America's secret court. In this body that grants permission to the government to wiretap Americans or spies on corporations suspected of terrorism, as Avery digs deeper, she begins to see a frightening pattern, and she worries that something far more sinister may be unfolding inside the nation's third branch of government. With lives at stake, Avery must race the clock and an unexpected enemy to find the answer. Drawing from today's headlines and weaving in her unique insider perspective, Stacey Abrams combines twisting plot lines, wry wit, and clever puzzles to create another immensely entertaining suspense novel, and I am here for it. I am so excited. Avery Keene is one of my favorite mystery characters, and I cannot wait to get to this one. Believe it or not, we are on the last book, so I picked up 2. No one at work needs to be concerned. I just want to say that ahead of time because I picked up Murder Your Employer by Rupert Holmes, a McMaster's Guide to Homicide. And so here's what happened. I walked in, I grabbed the Stacey Abrams book. I was like, this is what I'm getting with, I'm going to use my $5 toward it, and it's going to be awesome and great and all of that. And I'm going to get my triple points. And I grabbed this off the shelf as a haha, look at this. I was with a friend. And then I went and read the inside flap, and I was like, oh great, I'm totally buying this one too because it sounds amazing. Oh, there's my receipt. Prepare yourself for an education you'll never forget. A delightful mix of witty wordplay, breathtaking twists, and genuine intrigue. Murder Your Employer will gain you admission into a wholly original world, cocooned within the most entertaining book about well-intentioned would-be murderers you'll ever read. Wow, this book is really confident in itself. Who hasn't wondered what the world would be like if a person who is the object of your affliction ceased to exist? At the McMaster's Conservatory, future deletists, never murderers, learn the consummate execution of the homicidal arts. To this sumptuous campus come 3 memorable classmates, self-effacing Cliff Iverson, troubled Gemma Lindley, and Hollywood diva Doria May, all of whom has suffered menacing employers who richly deserved a deadly denouement. Under the tutelage of Dean Harbinger Harrow and the fascinating faculty of McMaster's Halls of Poison Ivy, they hone their craft, each hoping to finesse a perfectly masterful murder. And the end pages has yet another map. Yeah, look at that. I think this is the school, like the map of the school grounds and all of that. That just sounds so fun and so like intriguing and just absolutely like a blast. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope I introduced you to some books maybe you hadn't thought of, or maybe pushed you over the edge to pick up something that you haven't considered prior to now. So remember, I'm going to leave the video for the book of the month video, which is the other 3 books, so more details on the other 3 books that I also picked up this month. I will see you on Wednesday with my monthly wrap up of everything that I've read. And between now and then, I really hope that you have a wonderful week and you get to read some really great books.